All right, local swell trackers, welcome to it. Little hindcasting here. It is Thursday the 25th, and we're going back about a week ago, Friday the 19th. Tasman Sea Swell right here. This is a big fetch, wide fetch. Fiji will be getting plenty of fun waves. We get a lot of, Fiji acts as a cheese grater for these Tasman Sea sources. So we'll only see some 1 to 2, 2.5, maybe 3 from this guy. We should start seeing the buoy readings of 14 seconds late Friday and should see 1 to 2, maybe 3 feet on Saturday from this guy. Now, this whole system here covering that whole area will migrate off to the east of New Zealand and get a fetch on the northern part right here. And this will add energy in for Sunday, Monday, and again, all solid 3 feet. And then if we have a Whomper system coming up deep in the Tas and moving out with a partially captured fetch, but really strong winds, adding to the existing seas of the prior system. And look at the length of that fetch. So we are in for a long spell. Now, the first one's going to be 2 feet, 15, 16 seconds, and that'll bump us up, especially by Sunday into Monday, 2 to 3. And hopefully plus, but we'll see 22-second forerunners late Sunday from the deeper, bigger source down here that has a captured fetch for a while, but then begins to move east or zonal and sending a south swell at the end of its journey for us. So we are looking at the swells to build on Monday, 2 feet, 20 seconds, and then Tuesday a little bit more. Wednesday will be the peak at 4 feet, 15 seconds. That means at least 3 to 5, probably some 6-footers. For town. Not as big or as long-lasting as that last epic swell, but this one, hey, look at the calendar. This is October, and this series of fetches here that you're looking at will keep us in the fun zone all the way through. Gosh, there's even more to follow. Let me just get to it. Clicking in the animations, you can see some extra support here after the initial one. So 1, 2, 3 pulse here from the South Pack. Okay, so let's get to today's models, Thursday the 25th. That fetch I was just showing you, well, here at the end of the hindcasting, well, here is the current fetch below us. And this guy will have pumped us up to 5, maybe 6 feet Wednesday. And look at it, still lasting even on Thursday. As you can see, it begins to go the wrong way. We like it to point up towards us, but hey, take a look. We even have a pulse from a smaller system on Saturday. So if you go out a little bit further, in October, we are looking at a south swell boost. And starting in the animation, there's another small little pulse here, kind of out of our swell window, but enough for a south-southeast swell around the 8th. And not to be outdone, we may see this system bring us up some more Tasman Sea well into October, all much smaller than the swells coming up next week. Okay, that's the South Pack, and it's looking good. Now let's get over to the hindcasting of last Friday, the 19th. This spinner up here by the Kurils and Kamchatka is what we're seeing late yesterday, a little bit of a northwest swell of 2 feet. It stayed 2,500 miles away, so that's why we're not going to see a whole lot from it. But definitely we have some northwest swell in the water of 13 seconds. Then we have a system that forms to the north of us here, and that's bringing in that additional north, adding to this more distant source. And that's why we see Lonnie's 1 to 2. And there's some, marginal 3-foot sets up in the country today. That particular system intensifies and brings the first real big swell to the northwest coast. We'll let the models run one more time. You can see that one spins out of our swell window off of here. There's the guy that brings us our northwest. A little bit of activity here at Baja, but nothing serious. So we have a series of a couple swells. There is a system forming off of the Philippines, and we'll wait to see what that one's going to do. Okay, let's take a look at the North Pack for Thursday the 25th. There's this system off of here that the latest model runs show it possibly becoming a gender bender and bringing us up some waves. This swell over here is bringing us our long range north into the weekend, but most of the swell obviously out of our swell window. Starting in the animation, we want to take a look at this guy right here off of the Kurils and Kamchatka that moves with a captured fetch towards us on this weekend. The models have upgraded that puppy. Take a look at him. He reaches the date line there on Sunday. This guy's going to be bumping us up to 6 feet 14 seconds on October 1st. That's going to be enough for 5 to 7 feet minimum for spots like sunsets. Our second real northwest ground swell coming up on October 1st and into the 2nd and 3rd. It'll be fading out, but plenty of fun there from that source. Now here's that gender bender here heading towards Japan. Started out in the tropics, and then it does recurve right there and starts to feed into the jet stream energy And we'll be seeing some swell from this guy too, probably around Monday, Tuesday, the 6th and 7th of October. It will be small. Take a look at this. This looks like a full-on typhoon, and the Philippines and Taiwan and Japan are looking to get hit by some serious swell, and we will keep an eye on it. Long-range forecasts are subject to sharp U-turn. Okay, the jet stream, it's starting to drop. It's starting to consolidate. It even dips down on top of us here with a lot of iffy weather here in the forecast. The jet stream is not great, but it's definitely indicative of the new fall season as we get into it. Take a look at that. We love to see those purple blobs, and like to see the jet stream drop down to about 30 degrees north, and that's all in the forecast. It is a moderate El Nino year, and that means more systems. An El Nino is just slightly warmer water temps here down by the equator off of South America that changes weather patterns all over the place. And one of those weather patterns is more intense storms in the North Pac. Taking a look at the jet stream down under, kind of a split no-go deal, but then we do have a meridional flow right there in a few days, and that will send up some south swell to us, to south-southeast swell. There's some whomper potential still in the forecast, and not bad for October at all. But the North Pac is going to be taking over for as far as consistency goes. But, you take a look at the jet stream, and it still has that potential to bring us swell for town on the whole leeward coast, spreading out the crowds. Okay, let's take a look at the hand-drawn surface charts. High pressure here, keeping the trade winds with us. It is moving east. That big low off of here has a weak front that is over the islands, bringing some moisture. I'll get to that in just a second, but we definitely have a little bit more rain in the forecast through the weekend, thanks to a series of weak fronts moving down. A lot more lows starting to pop up. Here's a high pressure trying to come in and compete for next week. There is that low pressure here. It becomes a gender bender and a little bit of a storm off of Baja, but nothing for them to worry about. Okay, now we jump to the upper regions. You can see the tropics, fairly active. A lot of activity in the intertropical convergence zone and off here to our west. The upper regions are fairly stable, but the lower regions are showing a lot of embedded moisture in the trade wind flow, and that will continue with a 1-2 punch here from Thursday, Friday, and then again over the weekend. A little bit more rain. As we drill down, I'll tell you highs will be about 90 and lows about 75. You can see an east-northeast tilt to the winds and a lot more clouds than usual thanks to that broad spinning low. Take a look at the clouds, quite a bit for Maui. And take a look, there are a lot of upstream showers, a lot of them hitting the windward area, especially for Maui. There's a lot off to our south and west as well. And this pattern continuing. Temperatures will be cooling down over the weekend. And let's take one last look at the winds. There's the series of spinners for our south swell. There's the trade wind flow here from the northeast. And there's the system here that'll be tracking up, bringing us waves around October 7th. And it's game on for both town and country. And that is your local swell tracker. I'll be back weekend after this upcoming. And aloha for now.